All right, here we are at the beginning of Ayodhya Kanda.
Book 2 or Descent 2
Yeah,
of the Manasa Lake containing the exploits of Sri Rama.
yeah. Do you want to start or do you want me to go?
Yeah, I can start if you'd like.
Yeah. Oh, hang on.
Yes.
I'm just looking at the numbers. The numbers start again.
Yeah.
The numbers are back to 1.
Yeah. Well, it's a new book, really, in a
Oh,
sense.
I guess it makes sense. I just didn't know that it did that. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Is there anything before we start on that little introductory piece of the Emma had there of the beginning of each chapter?
I guess I could have a look. The problem is they don't line up with the numbers. So the reason she has got it is she's actually kind of read ahead and just found out where it happens and made it up herself. So, but I can tell you the first one because that's not too hard. Um, so the first one, Ayodhya Kanda, uh, invocations, preparations for Sri Rama's installation as the Prince Regent of Ayodhya. The gods concern over the same and their approaching goddess Saraswati for help. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. May he in whose lap shines forth Parvati, the daughter of the Mountain King, who carries the celestial stream Ganga on his head, on whose brow rests the crescent moon. His throat holds deadly poison, and his breast is graced by the Serpent King, and who is adorned by the ashes on his body. May that chief of gods, the Lord of all, the destroyer of the universe, the omnipresent Shiva, the moon-like Shankara, ever protect me. May the splendor of Sri Rama's lotus-like face, which neither grew brighter at the prospect of his being installed on the throne of Ayodhya, nor was it dimmed by the trauma of exile to the woods, ever brings sweet felicity to me. I adore Sri Rama, the lord of Raghu's race, whose limbs are as swarthy and soft as a blue lotus, who has Sita enthroned on his left side, and who holds his hands an unerring arrow and graceful bow. Cleansing the mirror of my mind with the pollen dust from the lotus feet of the revered Guru, I sing Rama's pure and virtuous glory that bestows the full rewards of human life. From the day Sri Rama returned home, duly married, there were new festivities and jubilant music in Ayodhya every day. The 14 spheres were like huge mountains on which clouds in the shape of meritorious deeds poured showers of joy. The water thus discharged formed into gorgeous rivers of affluence, success and prosperity that rose in spate and flowed into the ocean of Ayodhya. The men and women of the city were like jewels of a fine quality, bright, priceless, and charming in every way. The splendor of the capital was beyond description. It seemed as if the Creator's workmanship had reached his pinnacle here. Gazing on the moon-like face of Sri Ramachandra, the citizens were all happy in every way. All the mothers with their companions and maids were delighted to see the creeper of their heart's desire bear fruit. The king was particularly enraptured when he saw or heard of Sri Rama's beauty, goodness, amiability, and genial disposition. All cherished in their heart a common desire and said in their prayer to the great Lord Shiva, would it be that the king in his own lifetime appointed Sri Rama as his regent? One day, King Dasharatha sat with all his court in the state assembly hall, himself the embodiment of all virtues. The king was overjoyed to hear of Sri Rama's fair renown. Every monarch solicited his favor, and the very guardians of the world cultivated his friendship while respecting his wishes. In all the three spheres of the universe, and in all time, past, present, or future, none could be found so abundantly blessed as Dasharatha. Of him who had for his son Sri Rama the root of all bliss, whatever might be said would fall short of truth. The king casually took a mirror in his hand and, looking at his face in the mirror, set his crown right. The hair beside his ears had turned grey. It seemed as if old age were whispering into his ears. O king, make Rama your regent, and thereby realize the object of your life and birth in this world. Entertaining this idea in his mind and finding an auspicious day and a suitable opportunity, the king communicated it to his guru, sage, Vasista, with his body thrilling all over with emotion and his mind filled with rapture. Said the king, listen, O chief of sages. Rama is now accomplished in every way. Servants, followers, and ministers, all the people of the city, and others who are either my enemies or friends or neutrals. They all hold Rama as dear as I do. It seems your benediction itself is incarnated in his lovely form. What more, my lord? All the Brahmanas and their families cherish the same love for him as you do. Those who place on their head the dust from the Guru's feet acquire mastery, as it were, over all fortune. No one has realized it as I have done. I've obtained everything by adorning the holy dust of your feet. Now there remains only one longing in my heart, and that too will be fulfilled by your grace, my lord. The sage was delighted to perceive his sincere devotion and said, O king, give directions, express your desire. O king, your very name and glory grant all one's desires. The object of your heart's desire, O jewel of monarchs, is accomplished even before you entertain a desire. When the king felt assured in his heart of the Guru being so favorably disposed in every way, he cheerfully said in gentle tones, My lord, let Rama be invested with the regal powers. Pray, command me so that necessary preparations may be set afoot. Let this happy event take place during my lifetime so that all people may attain the reward of their eyes. By the Lord's blessing, Shiva has allowed everything to pass smoothly. This is the only one longing that I have in my mind. On the fulfillment of this desire, I will not mind whether the body survives or not, and I will not have to repent afterwards. The sage was pleased to hear these agreeable words of Dasaratha, which were the very fountain of felicity and joy. He said, "Listen, O king, aversion to Sri Rama makes one repent, while his adoration is the only means of soothing the agony of one's heart. Nay, he follows like a shadow where there is pure love. Same Lord Sri Rama has been born as a son to you. O king, let there be no delay and make all preparations quickly. That day itself is auspicious and full of blessings when Rama is proclaimed regent." The king returned rejoicing to his palace and summoned his servants, counselors, followers, including Sumantra. They bowed their heads, saying, "Victory to you, may you live long." And the king placed before them the most auspicious proposal. "If this proposal finds favor with you all, install Sri Rama on the throne with a cheerful heart." Councillors were glad to hear these agreeable words, which were like a shower on the young plant of their desire. The ministers prayed with their folded hands, "May you continue to live for millions of years, O sovereign of the world. You have thought of a good plan, which is a source of happiness to the whole world. Therefore, Lord, make haste and lose no time." The king was pleased to hear the encouraging words of the ministers. It looked as if the growing creeper had obtained the support of a strong bough. Said the king, "Whatever orders the great sage Vasista may be pleased to give in this connection with Sri Rama's coronation should be promptly carried out." The great sage gladly said in soft accents, "Fetch water from all principal sacred places." And then he enumerated by name a number of auspicious objects, such as herbs and roots and flowers, fruits and leaves, chowries, deerskins, and draperies of various kinds, including countless varieties of woolen and silken textiles, jewels, and numerous other articles of good omen, which were considered useful in the world for a coronation of a king. Detailing all the procedures laid down in the Vedas, he said, "Erect canopies of all sorts in the city, and transplant in the streets on all sides trees of mango, arecanut, and plantain with fruits. Paint beautiful designs on the floors, filling them with cozy jewels, and tell people to decorate the bazaar promptly. Worship Lord Ganesha and your preceptor as well as the tutelary deity, and render service in every form to the Brahmanas, the very gods on earth. Prepare flags and banners, festal arches and vases, as well as horses, chariots, and elephants." Bowing to these orders of the great sage Vashista, all concerned applied themselves to their assigned task. With whatever duty the great sage charged any man, the latter accomplished it so promptly as if it had already been done by him beforehand. The king adored Brahmanas, holy men, and gods, and performed auspicious rites for the sake of Sri Rama's welfare. As soon as the delightful news of Sri Rama's installation reached the ears of the people, the whole of Ayodhya resounded with festival music. Good omens manifested themselves in the person of Sri Rama and Sita. Their graceful, lucky limbs began to throb. Experiencing a thrill of joy, they lovingly said to one another, "The omens prognosticate Bharatha's return. Many days have passed and our hearts long to meet him. Auspicious omens assure us of our meeting with our beloved Bharata. And in this world there is no one so dear to us as Bharata. The good omens can thus have but one meaning." Sri Rama anxiously remembered his brother Bharata day and night, even as a turtle has its heart on its eggs. That very time the ladies of the palace were delighted to hear this most auspicious news, even as the waves of the ocean commenced their lovely sport on perceiving the waxing moon. Those who broke the news were richly rewarded with ornaments and costumes, with their bodies thrilling all over with emotion and heart full of rapture. All the queens started preparing festival vases. Queen Sumitra painted with coloured flour lovely diagrams in various charming designs and filled them with jewels. Overwhelmed with delight, Sri Rama's mother, Surya, summoned the brahmanas and bestowed them with gifts. She worshipped village deities and other gods and nagas, and vowing them further offerings, said to them, "In your mercy, grant me a boon, which may ensure Sri Rama's welfare." Moon-faced and fawn-eyed ladies sang festival strains in a voice as sweet as the notes of the cuckoo. Men and women rejoiced in their heart to hear Sri Rama's installation on the throne, and thinking God to be favorably disposed towards them, all began to make preparations. The king then called Vasistha and sent him to Sri Rama's palace for tender and opportune advice. The moment Sri Raghunath heard of the Guru's arrival, he came to the door and bowed his head at his feet. Reverently offering him water to wash his hands with, he ushered in the sage and honoured him by worshipping him in 16 prescribed modes. There's a footnote here about the 16 modes of worship. 16 modes of worship prescribed in tantric works consist in offering the following: asana, or seat; paja, water for washing feet; arghya, water for washing hands; akaminya, water to drink; snaninya, water for ablution; ganda, sandal paste; vastra, raiment; puspa, flowers; dupa, incense for burning; dipa, light; naveja, food; akamaniya, water for rinsing the mouth; tambula, betel leaves; dakshina, a gift of coins; pradakshina, circumambulation; and nirajana, waving lights. Back to text. In clasping his feet with Sita, Sri Rama spoke with his lotus hands folded in prayer. Master's visit to his servant's house is the source of all blessings and a panacea for all evils. Yet it would have been more fitting, my lord, for the master to have lovingly sent for his servant myself and charged him with the duty, for such is the right course. Since, however, my lord has laid aside his supremacy and showered his affection towards me by calling on me, my house has been hallowed today. I am ready to do what I am told, holy sir, for a servant is benefited only by serving his master. On hearing these words, steeped in affection as they were, the sage applauded Sri Raghunatha and said, It is but meet, O Rama, that you should say so, the ornament of the solar race that you are. extolling Sri Rama's goodness, amiability, and noble disposition. The Lord of Sages, Vasista said, thrilling all over with emotion. The king has made preparations for the installation ceremony. He would anoint you as Prince Regent. Rama, you should observe religious austerity today so that God may bring this affair to a happy conclusion. Having admonished him in this way, the Guru returned to the king, while Sri Rama had a feeling of regret in his heart. He said to himself, my brothers and myself were all born together, and together have we dined, slept, and played in our childhood. The piercing of our earlobes, one of the 16 sacraments incumbent on a Hindu, an investiture with the sacred thread, wedding, and all other ceremonies have been gone through together. The only unseemly practice in this spotless line is that the oldest brother should be installed on the throne to the exclusion of his younger brothers. May this loving and graceful expression of regret on the part of the Lord drive away all evil tendencies from the mind of his devotees. You want to go on that? Oh,
Which
I had a
one?
question, but
Oh,
I can't remember where it's gone now. Isn't it?
lost it.
Oh yeah. Uh, Paragraph 9 of the last thing. 9 it is. Where it says on here in these words, steeped in affection as they
Yep.
were, the sage applauded Sri Raghunath. Yeah, you got that?
Yep.
So mine said, it is but meet, O Rama, M-E-E-T. Did yours say the same thing?
Yes.
I'm just trying to work out what
What's it talk?
exactly that means.
I'm just reading it to get some more context.
I'm guessing it sort of means like, it is nothing. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a bit lost on what that means.
Yeah, like you sort of, yeah. All right,
Yes.
Doha 10.
Yeah, so I'm up to. You want me to go from number 10?
Sure.
And I was just going to say earlier, back at the start, you had let me find it, like way back on like the second page. Yeah, the cleansing the mirror of my heart of the dust
Mm,
on the lotus. It's the Hanuman Chalisa.
yeah,
You read the Nigiri, it says Sri Guru Charana Saroja Raja Nijamano Mukuru Sudhari Parano Raghubara Bimala Jasu Jo Dayako Palachari. Hey.
yeah,
that?
yeah,
It's there. That's cool.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, when I was reading that, I was like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. All right. On number 10. On that very occasion. Is that right?
Yep.
Yep.
Lakshman.
Cool. On that very occasion came Lakshmana, steeped in love and rapture, Sri Rama, who delighted Raghu's race, even as the moon delights a lily flower, greeted him with the endearing words. There was a sound of music of various kinds, and the rejoicing in the city was beyond words. All prayed for Bharata's return from his maternal uncles, and said to one another, would that Bharata came with expedition and obtained the reward of his eyes. In every bazaar, street, house, lane, and place of resort, men and women talked to one another. When will that blessed hour start tomorrow, during which God will fulfill our desire, when with Sita beside him, Sri Rama will take his seat on the throne of gold, and when the object of our desire will be accomplished? They all said. When will the morrow come? While the wicked gods prayed that some trouble might brew in the meantime, the rejoicing that was going on in Ayodhya did not please them, even as a moonlit night is not liked by a thief. Invoking Sharada, the gods supplicated her, and laying hold of her feet, fell at them again and again. Perceiving our grave calamity, O Mother, manipulate things in such a way today that Sri Rama may retire into the forest, relinquishing his throne, and the object of us immortals may be wholly accomplished. Sorry, I'm just asking myself, who's saying this? It's the I've lost it. I just said while wicked gods prayed. Anyway. Hearing this prayer of the divinities, Goddess Sharada stood still and was grieved at the thought that she was going to play the same role with reverence to the people of Ayodhya as a wintry night does with respect to a bed of lotuses. Seeing her downcast, the gods spoke again in a suppliant tone. Mother, not the least blame will attach to you, for the Lord of Raghus is above sorrow and joy alike. You are fully acquainted with Sri Rama's glory. As for the people, every embodied soul is subject to pleasure and pain according to its fate. Therefore, you should go to Ayodhya for the good of the celestials. Clasping her feet again and again, they exerted great pressure on her till she yielded and set out, considering the gods as mean-minded. She said to herself, though their abode is on high, their doings are mean. They cannot see others' prosperity. Again, reflecting on the role she was destined to perform in the days to come, when worthy poets would seek her favor, she came with a cheerful heart to the capital of Dasharatha, like the intolerably evil influence of a planet. Now Kaikeyi, Bharata's mother, had a dull-witted servant maid, Manthara by name, having perverted her reason and making her a receptacle of ill repute, the goddess of speech returned to her abode. Mantara saw the city decorated and festal music melodiously playing. She therefore asked the people, "What is all this rejoicing about?" When she heard of Sri Rama's coming installation, she felt distressed in her heart. That evil-minded and low-born woman pondered how mischief might be created overnight, even as a willy Bila woman who has seen a honeycomb hanging from a tree schemes how to get hold of the honey. Pulling a long face, she approached Bharata's mother. "What makes you look so grave?" the queen smilingly asked. She made no answer, but only heaved a deep sigh, and adopting the way of women, shed crocodile tears. Crocodile tears. Said the queen, laughing, "You are a most saucy girl. What I suspect, therefore, is that Lakshmana has taught you a lesson. Even then, the most wicked servant maid would not speak and merely hissed like a cobra."
I love that yours says saucy girl.
Yeah,
Mine says you are a most cheeky girl, which makes more sense. But
okay.
in modern, in today's English, like it shows how much the language changes over time. Yeah, yeah,
Well, it's spelled Saucy.
yeah.
Saucy.
But like today, you would think saucy is like, you know,
I guess.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I love the, that's what's so good about reading from two different translations is I love all the different minute little
Mm-hmm.
differences, which actually in some way help explain it better because it's like,
Yeah.
sorry, go on.
No, that's all right. I've also just completely lost where I was. I'm trying to find.
You're up to
All right, I found it.
13.
13, yeah. Apprehensive of mischief, the queen said to her, "How is it that you do not speak? I hope Rama and his royal father, Lakshmana, Bharata, and Ripudhamana, Shatrughna, are all well." The humpbacked woman, Manthara, was pained at heart to hear these words. "Why should anyone, O mother, give me a lesson? And on whose strength shall I be cheeky?" Oh, yeah. "Who is happy today except Rama, whom the king is going to invest with regal powers? Providence has turned most favorable to Kausalya. Seeing this, she cannot contain the pride of her bosom. Why not go and see for yourself all the splendor, the sight of which has agitated my mind? Your son is away, while you are complacent under the notion that your lord is under your thumb. You are excessively fond of sleeping on a cushioned bed and are unable to detect the deceitful cunning of the king." Hearing these affectionate words, yet knowing her malicious mind, the queen angrily said, "Keep quiet now. If you ever speak thus again, expert as you are in sowing seeds of discord in a family, I will have your tongue pulled out. The one-eyed, the lame, and the humpbacked know these to be perverse and wicked, more so if they come of the fair sex, and particularly those belonging to the menial class, said Bharata's mother and smiled. Oh, sweet-tongued girl, I have said all this to you by way of advice. Otherwise, I cannot even dream of being angry with you. That day alone will be auspicious and a bestower of good fortune, when your words will come to be true. The eldest brother should be the Lord, and the younger ones his servants. Such is the blessed custom prevailing in the solar race. If Sri Rama's inauguration is really taking place tomorrow, ask of me, my friend, what pleases your mind, and I will grant it. By his innate disposition, Rama loves all his mothers as dearly as Kausalya. He is particularly fond of me, and I have had occasions to test his love. Should God in his mercy vouchsafe to me a human birth again, may Rama and Sita be my son and daughter-in-law respectively. Rama is dearer to me than life. How is it that you have got perturbed at the news of his inauguration? I adjure you in Bharata's name to tell me the truth, putting away all deceit and reservation. Let me know the reason why you should grieve on an occasion of rejoicing. I have had all my ambitions fulfilled as a result of my speaking only once. I shall now speak again with another tongue. My wretched head surely deserves to be smashed, since you get offended even at my well-meaning words. Those alone who speak unctuous words, I don't know how to say that word,
Yes.
unctuous, words, minding not what is true and what is false, are your favorites. While I am disagreeable to you, from this day onward, I too will utter only that which is palatable to my mistress, or else I will keep mum all the 24 hours. God has given me a misshapen body and made me dependent on others. One must reap as one has sown, and must get what one has given. Whoever may be the ruler, I lose nothing thereby. Or shall I cease to be a servant and become a queen now? Damnable is my nature, in that I cannot bear to see harm come to you. That is why I just broached the topic. But it was a great blunder on my part, therefore pardon me, O venerable lady. Do you want to go on?
Hearing these pregnant and agreeably deceitful words, the queen, who was a woman with an unstable mind and was dominated by the celestial Maya, reposed her faith in an enemy mistaking her for a friend. Again and again, the queen politely questioned Manthara, hypnotized as she was by the latter's guileful words, like a doe fascinated by the music of a Bila woman. Her mind was changed according to the decree of fate, and the servant maid was pleased to find her plan succeed. She replied, "While you persist in questioning me, I am afraid to open my mouth, since you have given me the name of the mischief maker," thus working up the queen's faith and manipulating her according to her own liking in every way. Manthara, who spelt disaster for Ayodhya, like the evil influence exerted by the planet Saturn for a period of 7.5 years, according to Indian astrology, then spoke. You said just now, O Queen, that Sita and Rama are dear to you, and that you have endeared yourself to Rama. This assertion of yours is true. This is, however, a thing of the past. Those days have now gone by. When the tide turns, even friends become foes. The sun fosters the family of lotuses, but in the absence of water, it burns them to ashes. Your co-wife, Kasulya, would strike at your very root, protect it by means of a good fence in the form of a remedy. You are free from anxiety on the strength of your husband's love, and know him to be under your control. The king, however, is malicious of mind, though sweet of tongue, while you possess a guileless nature. Rama's mother, Kasulya, is clever and deep. Finding a suitable opportunity, she has turned it to account. You must know it is at the suggestion of Rama's mother that the king has sent away Bharatha to his maternal grandfathers. She says to herself, "All my other co-wives serve me well. Only Bharatha's mother, yourself, is proud, because of her influence with her lord. It is, therefore, O queen, that you rankle in Kasulya's heart, but she is too crafty to disclose her mind. The king is particularly fond of you, but due to the jealousy to which a co-wife is naturally exposed, Kasulya cannot tolerate it. That is why, by resorting to machination, and winning over the king, she has prevailed on him to fix a date for Rama's installation on the throne. The installation of Rama is in accord with the traditions of the family. It is liked by all and is quite to my taste. I, however, shudder to think of the consequences. May heaven so ordain that the mischief may recoil on her own head. Inventing and injecting many a mischievous concoction, Manthara put the queen off the scent and told her 101 wily stories of co-wives, so as a foment of her ill will. As fate would have it, the queen felt assured in her heart of Manthara's fidelity. Adjourning her by her own life, she questioned Manthara once more. What is it? What is it that you inquire about? It is strange that you should not understand things even now. Even a quadruped knows what is good or bad for it. Quadruped, sorry. What is good or bad for it. Preparations have been going on for the last fortnight, while you have got the news from me today. I get my livelihood under your tutelage. Hence, I be not blamed for speaking the truth. If I tell a lie given in the colour of truth, God will punish me for the same. Should Rama's installation take place tomorrow, Providence will have sown the seed of adversity for you. I swear and tell you most emphatically, O lady, that you have been discarded now as a fly from a cup of milk. If you and your son accept the role of menials, then alone you will be allowed to stay in the house, and in no other circumstance. Kadru, the progenitress of the serpent race, persecuted her co-wife, Vinata, mother of the whole feathered kingdom. So will Kaushulya tyrannize over you. Bharata will rot in prison while Lakshman will be Rama's lieutenant. There's just a footnote here about Vinata. The names Kadru and Vinata take us back to the beginning of creation. The Puranas, class of sacred literature dealing with the history of the entire cosmos, and wrongly supposed by modern critics, both in India and abroad, to be works of mythology, declare that the different species of living beings, from celestials down to the tiniest insect, took their common descent from the sage Kasyapa, through different mothers. Excuse me a sec. Of them, Kadru gave birth to the race of serpents, while Vinata put forth the wing creation. Once there was a controversy between the two ladies about the color of the tail of celestial horse. Vinata insisted that the horse was white in color, while Kadru maintained that it was dark. It was mutually agreed that the lady whose version proved untrue should serve the other as handmaiden for the rest of her life. When Kadru came to know that the horse was really white in color, she managed to hoodwink the guileless Vinata by asking her sons, the cobra race, to cover the tail of Ukayhashvara by their own dark forms, and thus lending it a dark hue. Vinata was thus made to serve her co-wife for a number of years and suffered great persecution at her hands, till she was liberated by Garuda, Vinata's powerful son, and the celebrated vehicle of Bhagavan Vishnu. The story is told at length in the Adiparva of the Mahabharata. Back to the text. Hearing these awful remarks, Kakeyi shriveled with fear and could not utter a word. Her body was wet with perspiration and shook like a plantain stalk. The humpback then bit her tongue, for fear lest the gloomy picture drawn by her might break Kakeyi's heart. Telling her one after another many story of wiles, Manthara confronted the queen and asked her to be of good cheer. At last the tide turned, and Kakeyi conceived a fondness for perversity. She applauded a heron, mistaking it for a swan. Listen, O Manthara, what you say is quite true. My right eye ever throbs, and I have an evil dream every night. But in my folly I did not tell you. I cannot help it, my friend. I am so guileless by nature. I cannot distinguish a friend from a foe. Never to this day have I done an evil turn to anybody during my ascendancy. I wonder for what offence has Providence subjected me to such terrible suffering all at once. I would fain go and spend the rest of my life at my father's, but on no account serve a co-wife so long as there is a life in me. For him whom heaven allows to survive as a dependent of an enemy, death is preferable to life. The queen uttered many such words of despondency. At this the humpback resorted to the wily ways of a woman. Why should he speak in this strain, indulging in the self-deprecation? Your happiness and good luck will ever be on the increase. Whoever has contemplated such gross mischief to you shall eventually reap its fruit. Ever since I heard of this plot, my lady, I have felt no appetite during the day, and have had no wink of sleep at night. I consulted the astrologers, and they declared in positive terms, Bharata shall be the king. This much is certain. If you act upon it, O good lady, I will offer a suggestion to you. The king is under an obligation to you for your services to him. At your suggestion, I would throw myself down a well, and can even forsake my son and husband. When you tell me to do something in view of my dire distress, why should I not comply with it in my own interest? Winning over Kakai and treating her as an offering accepted for sacrifice, the humpback whetted the knife of trickery on the stone of her heart. The queen, however, like a sacrificial beast who nibbled the green turf, did not foresee the impending calamity. Agreeable to hear, yet painful in consequence, were the words she spoke. It seemed as if she was administering honey mixed with poison. Said the maidservant, "Do you or do you not remember the incident you once told me, my lady? You have in reserve the king 2 boons that he once promised you. Ask for them today and soothe your heart. Bestow sovereignty on your son and banishment to the forests on Rama, and thus take all the pleasures of your co-wife." Note here about the 2 boons, I think. It's stated in Valmiki's Ramayana that King Dasaratha was once engaged in a combat with the demon king Sambara on behalf of the gods. The king was mortally wounded and fell unconscious in his chariot, while the charioteer also fell. The valiant queen, Kakeyi, who had accompanied her royal husband to the field of battle, assumed the role of the charioteer and removed the king to a safe retreat. When the king regained consciousness and came to know of the timely help rendered by the queen, he was immensely pleased and offered her a couple of boons. The queen, however, kept them in reserve and did not ask for anything on that occasion. Continues. The Adyatama, Adyamata Ramayana, forming part of the Ramananda Purana, however, tells a different story. There we are told that while King Dasharatha was once fighting with the demons on behalf of the gods, the axle of the wheels of his chariot got loosened and was about to fall when Queen Kakeyi, who had accompanied the king to the battlefield, perceived it, and inserting her own arm in place of the axle, prevented the chariot from toppling down and held her arm in that position till her husband was able to vanquish his foe. The king was filled with admiration and gratitude when he marked this heroic feat on his queen and offered her 2 boons, which the queen reserved for future occasion. Okay, back to the text. When the king swears by Rama, ask the boons only then, so that the former may not go back upon his word. The scheme will fail if this night is allowed to pass. Cherish my words as dearer than life. Do you want to
22.
continue from Doha 22?
How you doing? You're good to keep going, or
I will have to finish soon. I've got to go
yeah?
pick up River. So yeah,
All right. So just
just read for a bit more, and then yeah.
I'll just have another read for a bit, and then yep. Having thus hatched her very cruel design against the queen, the wretch said, "Betake yourself to the sulking room, manage the whole affair discreetly, and be not too ready to believe." Holding the humpback dear as life, the queen applauded her uncommon shrewdness again and again. "I have no such friend as you in the whole world," she said. "You have served as a prop to one who was drifting along a stream. If gods fulfill my heart's desire tomorrow, I will cherish you, my dear, as the apple of my eye." Thus lavishing every term of endearment on her maidservant, Kaikei retired to the sulking room. Discord was the seed, and the servant girl, Mantara, the rainy season, while the evil mind of Kaikei served as the soil. Fed by the water of willingness, the seed took root and sprouted with the two boons as its leaves, and will eventually bear the fruit of adversity. Gathering about her every token of resentment, Kaikei lay down on the floor in the sulking room. While enjoying sovereignty, she was betrayed by her wicked mind. There was a great flutter in the gynecium, as well as in the city. Nobody had any inkling of this evil design. In their ecstasy of joy, all the citizens, both men and women, busied themselves with festive preparations, and the entrance to the royal palace was flooded with a continuous stream of people going in and out. Delighted at the news, a few of Sri Rama's boy companions called on him in a body, and sensible of their affection, the Lord received them kindly, and politely inquired after their health and welfare. After receiving the permission of their beloved friend, they returned home speaking highly of him to one another. "Is there anyone in this world so amiable and constant in his affection as Rama? In whichever species we may be born from time to time as a result of our actions, may God grant us that Sita's spouse may be our Lord as we his servants." and that his relation between us may continue till the end. Everyone in the city cherished the same desire, but there was intense agony in Kakei's heart. Who is not ruined by evil company? Man loses his wit by following the counsel of vile men. At eventide, the king joyously visited Kakei's palace. It looked as if love incarnate had called on harshness personified. The king was taken back when he heard of the sulking room. His feet refused to advance on account of fear. He, under whose powerful arm the Lord of Celestials dwelt secure, and whose goodwill was even sought by all rulers of men, was stunned at the news of his wife's anger. Look at the mighty power of sexual love. Even those who have endured the blows of a spear, thunderbolt, or sword, have been overcome with the flowery shafts of Rati's Lord, the god of love. The king timidly approached his beloved queen and was terribly distressed to perceive her condition. She was lying on the floor in old and coarse attire, having cast away all the ornaments of her person. Her wretched garb so eminently befitted her, prognosticating, as it were, her impending widowhood. Drawing close to her, the king asked in soft accents, "Why are you angry, my soul's delight?" As the king touched her with his hand, saying, "Why are you angry, my queen?" Kaikei threw it aside and flashed upon him a furious glance, like an enraged serpent, with the two above mentioned cravings of her heart for its bifurcated,
Irritated.
bifurcated, how do you say it?
Bifurcated.
Bifurcated tongue, and the boons that have been promised to her by the king for its fangs, spying out a vital part. As fate would have it, says Tulsi, the king took it all as an amorous sport. Should I keep going or?
Let's stop there. Stop at 25.
Yep.
Continue next time.
Yeah. Well,
I find it so interesting that there's a dedicated room just to soak in.
we were talking earlier about organizing our houses.
Yeah, true.
A place to meditate, place to go and be angry and sulk.
The dedicated room for that actually doesn't sound that silly if I guess you own a kingdom.
Well, when I don't know, I guess actually just you bringing it up now makes me think like yeah, the times that I've had where it's been, an argument or whatever, hard times, like it would be nice to be able to walk away from that space,
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, let's go and be angry in the anger room and just leave it there. and then come back out. It's interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
When I build my palace, I'll think about
I
it.
do wonder how translation that has got over the centuries. Like, I don't know, like I get sulking room, like I get it, and yeah, a dedicated room to. But I wonder what it. I don't know. I'm getting too heady, but I just wonder what it really translates to if you
Hmm.
like if you go into it. Does it really mean just like a timeout room? Like a yeah,
Hmm.
space to go, like a meditation space almost, like a place to have time out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Finish the recording.
Hmm.
See you YouTubers next time.